would take hours, he said. No, I said an hour. I said an hour. And it has taken about an hour. All right, so game 4, I was feeling okay. I had lost the game I shouldn't have lost. I lost the game that I should have lost. And then I won a game that arguably, like, you know, I did okay. I was a little stressed about it. But I was frustrated because we got black again. And I was like, what in the actual fuck? Because every single player we played a 1390, we played a 1517. Both of them we played black against. Their 1517 is almost double my rating. 1390 is way higher than me. The only person I played white against was 803. Like, it feels like it should have been the other way around, that these people should have been given an extra black game. And usually they take that into consideration when they rank you, or when they decide who plays white, who plays black. But didn't work that way. So now I was playing this name is backwards. It's Devika Ebi against me. Devika is 1017. And I had talked to somebody, and they had said when you play the Alapin, instead of playing d5, try playing knight f6. And I thought, okay, let's give it a shot. Again, I understood the idea. If they go for the center here, we just take this, right? They can take that, but that's like kind of shitty. They've doubled their pawns. I take a pawn here, and like they don't really have a center either, right? So I get that idea. The problem was they didn't really prepare me for what was going to happen after that, which was this. So I didn't know what the moves were, and I was just making them up. The good news is I found the right move to start with. But here, apparently, the move takes, and this is really bad. I'm already equal. And here the move is d6, which I didn't find. I did this because I was like, I'm playing a Sicilian. So, you know, I know knight c6 is a good move. I should just play it. I'm just kind of winging it as I go. Now I play d6, which is okay. It was better earlier. And here I thought, okay, I calculated it out. He's going to go here. I can check here. She'll take here. I'll take here. The queen hangs, so this I can check, and I'm forking the rook. All of this happens. But this happens, and I forget that this happens. And the benefit here is I am up a pawn, right? So it's not the worst thing in the world. I can't take this pawn because it's covered. I cannot take the rook because I lose my queen. But the best move here is to go here for obvious reasons, right? We just keep the king from castling. Instead, I was like, this is the weirdest Sicilian position I've ever been in. It's the weirdest Sicilian position I've ever been in because I've never played knight f6 first. So again, this goes back to, I really need to work on my black lines because I didn't know what I was doing. I went over here. She immediately castles because I should have stopped her from castling. But I didn't. So I pin the knight and I figure, okay, at least my queen's in a weird spot. Let's at least immobilize the queen. The queen really can't leave, or else we, you know, mess this up, and then we come and take it, and we have a pretty nasty attack on the king. She had this really good idea of this, because one of the options here, too, that I was considering, was if I take, and she takes, I take back immediately, and then this pawn side structure is busted, and now I can take here, I can push, I can develop, I can castle, and she's got doubled pawns, and I have actually a really good, like, situation. This blocks that, which is really, really smart. Super cool. Really like that idea. Makes me wish that I was sitting here and hadn't let him castle in the first place. Her, sorry. So this happens. I take anyway because he is pinned. She is pinned. You know, so she can't take back this way. She has to take back this way. She does. And now I have this one isolated pawn out here. She has this isolated pawn out here. And my thinking process is something like I can come here and guard it. But I do need to push this and get developed. Yo, thanks Monica for following. Appreciate it. I do not have any water on me. I'm super sorry. And I'm going to the last game, so I'm going to do that. But I promise I will hydrate afterwards. Okay. So I make this move first because I know I need to develop. She goes h3, and I drop back to bishop h5 because I'm, again, if she wants to do this, this is totally fine with me. Of course, she doesn't. She makes this weird move, and I didn't see the threat in this move. And the problem was I didn't see it because, she can't go here. Going here allows me to just take this. Going there, and I just take that. So what is the point of this? I saw 0 threat in it. So I put my bishop here. Mostly because I don't have anywhere else better to put it. Apparently the computer says, no, put it here. Absolutely, you should put it here. I don't. Then he goes rook here. And one of my thoughts was, okay, I can go rook ac8 and guard. But then we probably drop this eventually, because if he kicks my queen out, then this is dropped. It's the best move, for sure. Computer says so. But I'm trying to think about it, and I can't think about it. It also says a5. Ignore this pawn. Who cares? We don't need it. We're going to win this pawn eventually, so who gives a shit about this pawn? Let it go. And then it says, also, hey, it would be really smart if we castled. Really smart if we castled. Really smart if we castled. So here all I think is, you know what? I don't really want to do this. But if I go here, right? He has one attacker on it. We add an attacker for her. But we gain 2 attackers immediately. So what if we just push the pawn 1? And here she finds an awesome move that plays into why her queen is here. I did not even see it on the board because in the beginning I had ruled it out as a possibility. She comes here, check. There is no way to block it. It adds a 3rd attacker, and we are just in trouble. I have to move my king to f8. She takes here, I take, and now I'm assuming, okay, she's going to take here. This is going to be rough. It's going to turn into a race. I'm going to take here, take here, take here, and then I'm going to try and take here, and we're going to try and like turn it into a draw somewhere because she's going to try and come over here and, take my rooks. It's going to get nasty really fast. This is going to get wild. Instead, she took like this, which, of course, forces a queen trade and is not good for her. And we're just dead even. So now I'm thinking, and I do find all the right moves for the next 3 moves. This makes me really happy because it's kind of hard to figure out. It was, okay, she's going to want to get to the c7 square, right? The only way that I can defend anything properly is to get my rook out. The only way I can get my rook out is to get to this square. Because here, this pawn keeps me in. If I go here, this check, I have to go back, right? I have to go back like this. Then it just doubles up rooks, and I'm like really in trouble here, right? I do not like this because they're just going to just swallow everything. So I'm thinking, all right, I need to push g6. Now I know from experience, if I push g6, they push g4, and my bishop is trapped. I just lose a bishop. So I'm like, okay, I need to take, g6. He's going to go like this. She's going to go like this. And I'm going to go f6. And these are all the best moves. So I'm really happy about it. We remain even. I have a slight advantage. Her best move is rook fc1. She moves rook fd1. And now I do have a slight advantage for sure. It wants me to go ad8. And I understand why. The idea is she's trying to get her rooks into my 7th file, right? Piggy's on the 7th. And if I challenge this, it doesn't let that ever happen. If this happens and this, then I lose this pawn for sure, but she never gets this. She never makes this happen. Instead, I challenge the wrong knight for whatever, the wrong knight, the wrong rook for whatever reason. She goes here, b7. I still don't see that, like, I can still stop this. But apparently the best move at this point is rook c4 with some really cool ideas. Rook c4 is such a cool idea because here, I go here, attacking and defending, which is a really cool idea. Even if the king comes up to block this, I can come here, attack, defend. Like, this is great. I could bring my other knight or my other rook out. I'm in a really good position here. She pushes again. I can come here and just solidify it in place. This queen or king will never get past any of this. I can push all this stuff up and start moving, and I'm golden. But I miss it. So I come here, and my thinking was, I want to take this a pawn. I'm worried about this a pawn a lot. She does what I expect. Rook d7. I come and defend. She takes the a pawn. I check. And my goal was I wanted to get behind the a pawn. If I get behind the a pawn, it'll never pass. I was way too worried about the a pawn because it's like, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 moves from queening. There's no reason for me to worry about that right now. At least here, I recognize it. And my thought here was to kind of lock in. I didn't want the king to be able to get too far out. She pushes the a pawn. I get behind it. She comes here, and this is a kind of a cool idea, that this is a free pawn right now, right? Because this is blocking it. I do see it, and my thought is I go here. Because here what I thought was, okay, this loses a pawn and trades a rook, but I can guard these pawns. I really feel like I could guard these pawns. I come up here, I come over here, I'm guarding the pawns, and it's just 1 rook versus 2. I can eventually take this, and I'm going to be okay. And I'm thinking, I think I can do this. So I push this pawn up, because my idea is to lock the king out. She goes here, and my initial thought was I should check now, because now she either has to go there or she has to go back. But I didn't. I push my king up, and here I'm just thinking like, okay, yes, this is like mate or a mate threat, but in order to be a mate threat, they have to trade off a rook first, and I have plenty of time to move. She does do it, and I move this up because this kind of takes away a lot of the mate threat. Again, somehow I'm still missing that. I should just be checking. I should just check this king out of the way. Instead, she does this really interesting thing. And I sit here, and the first thing I think is, and granted, this is the 4th game in the tournament. Tournaments are really exhausted. Oh, Monica, we don't talk about, I have a customized emote and sub badges. I don't know if you paid attention to my channel at all, but that's a shitty reason to come into a channel, and please stop, or I'll just ban you. And I thought, okay, this is mate, so I need to take. And then I was like, okay, is there any other line I could go? I was like, I could give a check first, right? Okay, I can give a check first, and they have to move. If I give a check first, and she moves here, and I take this, that comes with check. So that's like a little more forcing. Maybe she comes down here, then I can take this. I don't know, there was just a bunch of things going through my head, and I was like, well, actually, I don't like that, because if she takes this, then this is still a mate threat, so then I have to move here. So then I thought, well, if I took this pawn first, then she could never get there, right? Or if I check and she, comes here, I could just check and take this first. Then she has to move back, and then I can take. I was like, okay, I could do all of these different things. And after doing all of these calculations of multiple different lines of how I'm going to do this, I check. She moves, which is great for me. This is fantastic. I take this pawn, right? She takes back. I take this pawn. She can come here maybe, but I can go here. I can get behind this eventually. And this is never going to promote, right? I can come down here as this comes and threaten this rook. The rook has to move, right? It's never going to promote. And we're going to be in an even game. The computer even says so. It's very, very even. But here, after having calculated all these lines, in my head, I had calculated that she would go here, because that would be the correct move if I then took. And in that move, I was going to do this. So I did this anyway, forgetting that the whole thing started with, I need to take, because this is a checkmate. So, a couple of things I need to learn. Again, the takeaways. Look at the whole board, take your time, each move, reassess the situation. There's too many things I missed in this game, in this whole tournament, that I shouldn't have missed, that I should have won. The other thing is, my lines with black are really weak. My next tournament's in 2 weeks. I'm going to be working a lot on my Sicilian and my Sicilian lines. And the last thing that I started with, take my time, work on my lines with black, and look for tactics throughout the whole game, right? Like, there's always tactics. Don't just play opening theory because it's opening theory. But that being said, even though it was 1 and 3, it was kind of disappointing. It wasn't the worst thing in the world. I didn't feel terrible about it. It was okay. Life is okay. We learned a whole lot out of this. Learned a ton. And I see all these things and I think, what if I were Roger Staubach? Gecko, maybe. Yeah, definitely not Gecko. But I do, like, there's so much I can work on, and I really like that. I think that's a great thing. I think my next tournament will be a lot better. I'm excited to play it. And, you know, honestly, it's, I think, going to be really cool. So, yeah, that being said, I'm going to study more, I'm going to practice more, and I'm looking forward to the next tournament. So, yeah. That's where that is. So thanks for watching these. Appreciate it. And I'll see you guys later.